Hello, it's Wednesday, February 2nd. I found myself with some free time this afternoon, so I figured I would give an update as to where I'm at with what I'm reading, because I haven't done that in a while. I was reading The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas, and I got about 2/3 of the way through it. I was renting it off of my library ebook app, and it was due today. As I was reading it, it stopped working, so I had to return the book, but when I tried borrowing it again, it wouldn't let me, and then I tried borrowing another edition because there were like 3 or 4 different copies of The Three Musketeers, just different editions available on the ebook app, and it wouldn't let me either, so yeah, that was frustrating. So I don't know, I had to email the library to ask them to figure that out, but we'll see. I really want to finish The Three Musketeers so that I can continue a couple other things. What I want to continue is I want to read The Black Count by Tom Rees, which is a biography of Alexandre Dumas. So I want to finish The Three Musketeers and then start the biography, and then I also want to read The Club Dumas by Arturo Perez Reverte. Yes, that I want to read that, which makes references to The Three Musketeers. I don't know if it makes references to Dumas himself. I mean, it's called The Club Dumas, so probably maybe things about his life, I don't know, but I feel like I should read that after I read The Black Count. Like, if I were to put them in an order, if I had to, that's the order I would put them in. So I'm really excited to read those books, but I really want to finish The Three Musketeers first. It's really frustrating. So as for what else I'm reading, I am currently reading The Book, which is a nonfiction about books. So the history of books. So I started off with the history of paper and parchment and the stuff that we write on, and then it moved on to the history of writing itself, and that's the section I'm on currently. I really like it. It's really interesting, the things that the author is bringing up, and it's a nice like in-between read too. I like picking it up whenever I'm like, I don't know what I want to read right now, so I just go to that. So it's a nice to have just on my nightstand. Yeah, I would say I'm about 20% of the way through it. Maybe. That might be being generous as well, but it's in the other room. I don't feel like going to check. And then I'm currently listening to Pages from Pizza Crows, which is an audiobook that was gifted to me by the author. And I have been listening to this for a long time. What I mean is I started this a long time ago, and then I took a really long break in between reading it, or listening to it. So I haven't been, and it's kind of just because I haven't been in the mood to listen to an audiobook. And so it's a collection of short stories, and this short story that we were on, which is the second one, I wasn't quite feeling it, so it was kind of, I wasn't really drawn to continuing the story, and I wasn't also in the mood to listen to an audiobook. So it's just a bunch of factors that led to me putting it off for a long time. So I picked it up again. I finished that story, and it ended in I really liked the ending. So I'm curious to see where else it goes and what other stories it comes up with based off of the different pizzas that we give to our pizza crow. So yeah, I'm still listening to that. I'm not gonna push myself to just plow through it, but if an opportunity presents itself, if I'm taking a long trip or if I'm doing some chores, then I'll listen to it. Okay, so I have started a couple other things. I started them in December, and I'm debating whether or not I want to continue them or pick up something else. I just don't know what I'm gonna read right now. But one of the things is Dragon World by Byron Price and Michael Reeves. I really like the premise of this book. It follows an adventurer who has some bad things happen to him or are suspected to have happened because of him. He's blamed for it, and he has to go on a journey. He has to leave and goes to this new mysterious and magical place, and, you know, adventure ensues. And I really like that idea, so I want to continue reading this. But the first section was so... I really liked it. Don't get me wrong. I did really like it. It was very well written, and it was very emotional. I want to continue, but at the same time, I know what's about to happen next. You know, because the consequences of things, you know what's gonna happen next. And I'm just nervous. So I'm nervous about the thing that I know it's gonna happen, even though it's probably gonna be a short piece, and then we'll move on to the rest of the story. But just getting through it, I don't know. It has made me reluctant to pick it up, but it is something that I do want to continue. And then another thing that I started was Rule 34, which is like a cyberpunk detective mystery. We follow this detective who's solving a murder, and they specifically deal with crimes involving scandalous things. It's interesting too how the author has created this world. So far we only have seen a little bit from like the detective's perspective, but like the changes to like how they communicate with other officers, how they handle their paperwork, and how they look up information in this future world is pretty interesting. And another really interesting thing about this book is that it's in second person, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. I got used to it in the first chapter, but then the second chapter is about a different character, and it's still the you perspective, I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering right. And so that's just strange to me that it's not just one character that you are reading from the perspective of, I guess, or someone is talking to you as if you were that person, but there's multiple characters. And I'm curious how many characters, because that second chapter really threw me off, because I thought this was only going to be one character's perspective throughout the whole book, the detective. But now there's this other one, and I'm like, oh, okay, so what's going on here? So I don't know. I want to continue it, but I have also been sort of reluctant to pick it up. So I don't know what I want to read next. One of my coworkers let me borrow this book. It is Karen Slaughter's book, The Good Daughter, for all the stickers. And I want to read it because my coworker let me borrow it. So I don't know if I should start reading it right now because they just let me borrow it, or if I should read something else that I was thinking about and then pick that up when I'm feeling like it, or I don't know. What this is about is this guy who is an attorney, I believe a defense attorney. Something really tragic happened to him and his family, and there was murder, or there's something involving death. I don't know if he died or what, but his daughter becomes an attorney, and then something happens in their town that brings back memories of what happened to her family, and there's some mystery there, some secret, seemingly scandal maybe. So that sounds really interesting. So another thing that I did, I recently posted a video about my TBR shelf, and I was going through it all and pointing out the books that I was most interested in and just showing you where everything was. And then, you know what I just did? I reorganized my bookshelf. So it looks completely different, and it looks so much better. And it's like, why didn't I do this before? So I took this video of my terrible looking bookshelf. It was so messy and completely unorganized. And now my bookshelf looks fucking awesome. I mean, it's not perfect. but it's almost there. I'll post a short video scanning down it so you can see. This is a good thing because before I did this, I was thinking about going to Bull Moose, which is a independent used media store. They sell music, movies, books, etc. And I was thinking of going because I was like, I feel like going out. Why not go to Bull Moose and see what they have for pre-owned books? And I'm glad I did this first because now I don't feel like buying new books because I don't know where to put them because everything is fitting fairly nicely. So that's how I feel for now. We'll see how long that feeling lasts. But yeah, that's where I'm at with what I'm reading. I'm sort of reading Three Musketeers, but I don't have access to it anymore, so meh. And then I might be continuing Dragon World and Rule 34, so yes. And then I might start The Good Daughter. So I guess I haven't really told you what I'm reading because it's all up in the air at the moment. But as soon as I pick it, I'll let you know. Alright, I'll see you next time. Bye. Quick update. I finished the Three Musketeers. Finally, it took me so long to finish it, but I'm finally done. I'm so happy. It was good. It was entertaining. There were parts that I definitely was like, what's going on here? This is kind of weird and super inappropriate, but overall it was a fun adventure with some really interesting characters to go on an adventure with. So I'm looking forward to finally being able to move on to read some of the other Dumas things that I wanted to read. But before that, I did continue reading Charles Stross's Rule 34, which I didn't realize was actually the second book in a series, although it's like a loose connection to the first book. I think they're just really set in the same world, same universe. And reading about the description of the first book made me really want to read that too. And I'm actually really enjoying this. I really like his writing, and I'm really liking the second person and the little bits of first person that are sort of that are in there and just interspersed. And it's just, it really makes the story a lot more engaging, I think, when it's being written this way. He's just doing a really good job of it. He's doing a really good job, and I'm enjoying it a lot. So looking forward to continuing it, and I'm looking forward to reading the other book as well. He's got a bunch of books. I haven't looked into any of the other ones, but we'll see. I'm gonna just stick with these two for right now, and then, you know, see what goes from there. So that's where I'm at. I thought about picking up Dragon World. I read like a couple pages, but this is the one that won out. So when I finish this, I'll probably continue with Dragon World. Good morning. It is Monday. No, it is Sunday. February 13th, and I'm still working on Rule 34 by Charles Stross. I'm this far in now. I'm on page 164, and there's 336 pages left, or 336 pages total. So that's 70-ish pages left, which is not a lot, but I'm having a hard time finishing it. Not because I'm not enjoying it, I am. It's just I'm feeling so distracted by wanting to do other things. I'm really looking forward to reading some other books, but I don't really want to start anything right now because I feel like if I start anything, I will not finish this. And I mean, usually I can read like 2 books at the same time, but in order for me to do that, I need to be in a certain mindset. I need to be able to focus on both, or like feel drawn to both of them, so that nothing gets left behind, I guess. And I haven't really been feeling that way lately, so I haven't been doing that, and it's really slowed down my reading a lot. Update on Rule 34. It's pretty interesting. I think it's a really interesting story. It's got a lot of really cool concepts. The way that the police system is set up, the programs that they use, the things that they have come up with to sort of streamline the process, but also deal with like an insane workload and trying to coordinate all this overwhelming flow of incoming information. There's a concept that we're finally getting at the end, which is sort of like, I can't really say because it's sort of revealing the big mystery here, putting everything together, revealing what's going on. But I really think it's really interesting. really. I think it's interesting, the concept that is being introduced at the end. It takes what we are used to in regards to like spam and targeted ads and just takes it a step further in a direction that is not, it's very scary to think about. And I think it's really interesting that this was written like 10 years ago, a little over, maybe like 10 to 15 years ago, and the progression of, you know, advertising and targeted ads and how our information is being used for companies to get an idea of what we're interested in and our habits and stuff like that, and how that information can be used in other ways. I don't remember if I mentioned it previously already, but the author was gonna write a third book in this series, like loosely connected books, but he never wrote the third book because when Snowden happened, he realized that his alternate reality wasn't really an alternate reality, which didn't, when reality becomes too close to what your fiction is, your science fiction, then it's not really a science fiction anymore. Although there's definitely still aspects of this that I think still fit in like a sci-fi setting, like things that we haven't done yet. At least I don't think that we have done yet, so or things that I don't think have been incorporated yet, but I don't know, maybe they have. I'm just rambling now. I have been trying to focus on reading this morning, and because I really want to finish it, and I thought maybe I'd finish it this morning, but I'm just not cruising through it very quickly. I don't know if it's because of the you perspective, the second person, that's making it slow. I don't think that's it, because I think the second person perspective still really works with this, and I really like that. It fits, and I'm gonna have to think about why it fits more by the end, but I'm starting to get an idea of why I like it. I think what slows it down for me is all these technical ideas and concepts that don't really make sense to me. Sometimes I'm leery of reading science fiction because I don't know if I'll get the concepts that are being spoken of, like a lot of technical jargon, and I sort of feel like I'm not getting everything, not quite making all the connections that I should be, because I don't quite understand what all of these things that they're saying mean. And I think that's slowing it down, me trying to understand what all these things are. Maybe I'll finish it today. I would love it if I finished it today. It would be fucking awesome. But I don't know if I will, because I really want to do some other things. I've been drawing, which has been a lot of fun, and I've also been playing a lot of video games. Well, I've been playing video games a lot. Not playing a lot of video games, but I'm hoping to play a lot of video games because I have a bunch that I really want to play, and So I want to do that. I want to spend some time doing that, but doing that takes time away from reading, and I also want to read, so just not enough time in the day. I'll let you know how it goes when I finish it. Maybe at the end of the day, maybe, or maybe in a week from now. Hopefully not. Okay, it's now afternoon, same day, still the 13th, Sunday, and I have finished Rule 34, finally finished it, and I feel mixed about the ending. I'm not sure I understand exactly what happened right at the end there. There's like a reveal, but I don't know if I quite understand what was revealed. So yeah, it's so strange. But I do want to say I did have a moment when I realized why the second person perspective works so well in this book. So this book has a lot to do with surveillance and how spam targets us with ads and sort of gathers information and also steers us in particular directions. There's the question of free will, if that even exists, or if all of our decisions are mechanical and therefore, like, depending on what you are confronted with can determine what decisions you make, so you don't actually have free will. When you're confronted with certain things that prompt you to act a certain way, implies that you don't have actual free will to decide what you're gonna do. So that's interesting, and I realized that the second person perspective, the you, making it so much more, making the reader feel more connected to the story by saying you, was making it feel a lot more invasive, I guess. The way it's saying you, your thoughts, your action, just the way that the book is describing your thoughts and your actions and everything going on around you. And that I realized just that it's so invasive, and it makes you feel like someone's watching you and watching every step that you make and every thought that you have, and it fit really well. And there are points when it shifts, the perspective sort of shifts, and makes you question who actually is narrating the book. Is it you, or is it someone or something else? Because it'll change perspective but not explain why it's changed the perspective. And I still don't quite understand. I think the reveal at the end was supposed to make more sense, but I don't know if I quite understood what it implied. I'm definitely gonna look this one up to see what other people have to say about it and had to say about the ending. I think this is definitely one that you could talk about a lot with friends, and it could prompt a lot of really interesting discussions. So I'm hoping I can convince somebody else to read it so that we can talk about it, and maybe the process of talking about it with someone will help reveal some of those things that I missed. I feel like there were a lot of things that, like, connections I was supposed to make that I didn't quite make, like revelations. There were points where the characters made revelations, but I didn't. It's one of those times when the character makes a revelation and you think, I'm either supposed to get it now or they're gonna reveal it on, like, the next page, but I don't think they did. So I think I was supposed to sort of connect the dots when the characters did, but I didn't quite with everything. Besides the fact that I don't feel like I connected all of the dots, it was still really entertaining. It was still a really entertaining read, and seeing the way that this society is organized at this point in this sort of alternate reality, that isn't quite so alternate from our reality currently, but just slightly off, and it just made me really question what is possible right now. And yeah, so it was good. It definitely prompted a lot of thinking. I picked it up at a discount shop that had a huge influx of books. I had so many books in my cart, and I just picked this one up really because of the name, for the meme of it, and it surprised me. It really did. I picked it up because I thought it would be a joke, sort of, be funny, but it was a lot more serious than I thought it was, and it was pretty good, really well written, I think. So I would definitely recommend giving this a shot if you like science fiction, if you like that the technological aspect of like slightly futuristic crime, police organization, and also crime organization, and how it all is affected by technology and the advancement of technology and the internet, and how that has sort of changed the landscape of policing and crime. So if you have read it, let me know what you thought of it. I am not sure what I want to pick up right now, so I think I'm thinking of picking up The Black Count, which is the biography of Alexandre Dumas. And I don't know, because I that's a nonfiction, and I don't know if I pick up a nonfiction right now, if that'll really slow me down, or if it'll be interesting enough to chew through. I guess it really depends. It's hard with nonfiction. Sometimes it's really dry, and sometimes it's written really well, so you can just plow through it. But I'm not sure. I still also want to continue reading Dragon World, but I don't know if I can continue reading Dragon World and pick up something else at the same time. I'm not sure. I might start reading The Black Count and then go between that and Dragon World, since it's a nonfiction, and then I've already started Dragon World, so we'll see. But I think that's where I'm going to go from here. I'm not doing so well with my month of February. I haven't read as many books as I wanted to, or I haven't been reading at a pace that I feel like I would like to be reading at. This is the second book I finished this month. The first one was Three Musketeers, which I started in January, so it kind of counts towards February, but this is the first full book I read this month, and we are almost halfway through the month. Yeah, we're pretty much halfway through the month, and it's a short month too, so I would like to finish at least one more book. I would really like to finish multiple books. I don't want to have those short months, kind of like I did last year towards the end of the year, where I read like 1 or 2 books in a month. I would like to read at least 3, but I don't know if trying to read 3 for this month, since we're already halfway through, will be pushing it. I guess technically Three Musketeers is on my list for books I read in February, even though I started it in January. I know that doesn't count 100%, so like, even though it's on the list, it doesn't quite meet the goal for me. So I'm not sure. We'll see, and I'll let you know what I pick up next. Thanks for watching. Bye.